This con
Okay. Now, so the last session we were discuss about consignment procurement. We have not completed because of some GL account problem. So in other server, I am going to continue this consignment procurement here. So in consignment procurement, so what we observed in consignment procurement. So here it is a special procurement. So in this procurement, generally we will create a order to the vendor. The vendor will dispatch the material, but immediately we are not paying to the vendor here. Okay, so we are receiving the material, and these material we are keeping to know, we are keeping in our stores. Okay, after receiving the material, so in future requirement. So whenever you require this material, so we need to withdraw from the consignment stores. So how much we withdrawn, for that withdrawal quantity only we need to pay to the vendor. So this is what complete consignment procurement here. So in standard procurement, what we observe in the standard procurement, after receiving the material, so the vendor will prepare the invoice and the invoice copy will receive, and we need to prepare our own invoice in a SAP system. So this invoice will go to our internal and they will pay to the vendor. But is consignment is not like this. So the PR is there. Okay, so the item category K. So we will create the PR, and finally we'll create a PO. If a business requires, we can create RFQ also. So once the PO will reach to the vendor, so after dispatching the vendor, so we are receiving this material and we are keeping in our stores. Okay. So here, whenever you require, so just we need to withdraw here. Then how much we withdraw, for that quantity we need to, for that withdrawal quantity only you need to pay to the vendor here. Okay. So for that, what we observed, the purchase info record is must here. So we will create materials and vendors. So which materials you are procuring in consignment process. So here the material vendor combination, the purchase info record you need to create. So purchase info record is must to perform the consignment procurement. As the consignment procurement is social procurement, so without purchase info record, we are not able to perform this consignment procurement. This we need to understand here. So what is the use of this purchase info record in consignment procurement? Because whenever you are creating consignment procurement, so at the time of PO, the PO, so whenever the user is selected the item category K, which represents the consignment procurement, the net price column will be grayed out here. So system is not going to enter the price. Why? Because initially we are not paying to the vendors, right? So that's what there is no condition tab, and in net price also completely it will be grayed out. So here where you will mention the price, initially we will discuss with the vendor, and for the consignment procurement especially, the vendor will give you some timeline here, whether 2 months or 3 months or 1 month or 10 days. So the time period you need to mention. So whenever the vendor is giving dispatching the material without taking any liabilities, definitely will keep a condition. So in purchase info record, so we need to create purchase info record by selecting the item category as K. So by selecting the info category, not item category, by selecting the info category, so consignment. So we need to create a purchase info record, consignment, a purchase info record we need to create. So in this purchase info record, so we need to mention the validity period. So what is the time period? And also we need to mention the price and as well as the tax codes here. So this we need to observe. The purchase info record is must here. Okay. And here for all the procurement process, it means here in standard procurement process, we observed we will create invoice in MIRO, but in consignment procurement, we will create the invoice in MRKO transaction code here. So in this MRKO transaction code, generally we need to prepare the invoice. This invoice copy, okay, based on this invoice copy, you are going to pay to the vendor here. So this is the difference we need to observe. And initially we discussed in consignment procurement. So if you are receiving some quantity from the vendor, so within that time period, whatever the time period is mentioned by the vendor, so within that particular time period, you consumed the complete stock, no problem. But here, if any stock is left out, so that stock you can return to the vendor here, complete stock. So whatever the stock is left out, so you're in business, so you don't require in future also. Later, you can return this stock to the vendor here. And another variation in consignment procurement. So if suppose in future you require this material, so here a vendor will ask you either you return or you can make the transfer posting. Means you can convert this stock into the your own consignment stock here. So that also we'll see in today's session here. Okay. So initially we will create one material, and already we have vendor is there. So we will create one material, and vendor is there. So we will create purchase info record, and we'll in purchase info record we'll select info category K and mention validity period and tax codes and price. And let us run the scenario. So we'll create one purchase requisition by selecting item category K. Then we will convert this purchase requisition to purchase order. So after creating the purchase order, we will observe whenever you enter the goods receipt in system. So if it is a normal stock, it will show if it is a normal stock, it will show in the stock overview. So it is a validity periods here. If it is a consignment stock, so automatically, give me a second. Yeah, right. So if it is a consignment stock, so automatically the system will show in separate line item as it is a vendor consignment stock here. Okay, because we are not ownership of this material, so that one SAP also it will show in a separate line item here. Okay, so this also we need to observe. Okay, let us run one by one. So let me start the server here. Only server is open. Now I'll create one material here. So you know MM01, create one material, go to industry sector, take one any material type, raw material, go to basic MMS, basic data purchasing, general plant store accounting one, go to organization levels, so enter the plant, and enter the store location. Okay, now test for consignment procurement, enter some base unit of measure, enter some material group, okay. Enter buyer group, enter the purchase organization, valuation class, enter some price here. So step one, we created one material. So which material? Now you go, we have created this. This is the material 500 Now after this material, okay, so what we need to do, we need to create one vendor. However, vendor is there here. Okay, so however we have a vendor, so 1000 vendor will make it a 1000 vendor only. Okay, 500 right. Now step 2 create. So step 1 create material and step 2 create. So why we are creating means every business process procedure, so we need to prepare our own master data. Okay, in step 2 we need to create the vendor here. Okay, so already we have vendors. Let us use 1000 vendor or 5210. We have some standard vendors, so already you know how to create the vendor. Now let us do the third step here. So what is the third step here? We need to create purchase info record. Without purchase info record, we cannot perform the consignment procurement here. Okay, now I'll enter the vendor 1000 and enter the purchase organization. In which plant here? 1100 plant here. So in which plant you create the material? So you need to enter that particular plant, 1100 plant. Okay, so enter the vendor, material, purchase organization, plant, and you must select consignment here. Okay, so info category. So total we have 4 info categories as the purchase info record are classified into 3 areas. Okay, so general data, purchasing data, and condition data, and it is 4 info categories. For standard and subcontracting info, this purchase info record is optional, whereas for pipeline consignment, purchase info record is must here. Okay, already you know how to create a info record. Just enter vendor and enter the mandatory fields, the standard quantity like 100, and you must enter the tax code here. You must enter the tax code here, some 10% of tax here. So without tax code also it is problem. So while you are converting in MRKO, system will give the problem here. Now let us say each is some $100 for one piece here. Okay, so this is the price we fixed here, and most important condition data. So the vendor will give you some validity period from which date to which date here. Okay, whether 2 months or 3 months or 5 months. So what is the time period? So vendor will mention. So this is up to 27th 5th month up to 27th 9th up to September here. Okay, so now click on. So whenever you are procuring this material from this vendor to the consignment process, so this is the price here. So we need to mention. So validity from 2 periods also vendor will be mentioned, and what is the price also vendor will be mentioned. Simply you need to create a purchase info record. So now how to differentiate here this purchase info record? So it is reference with item year K year. Okay, so info record number. Okay, in 1000 purchase organization in 1100 plant. So it represents K year. K means this consignment info record here. Okay, now copy this material. So here we have material, we have vendor. Okay, for this material and vendor, so in 1000 plant, so if any user, you can able to create a purchase requisition. So we created purchase info record with 1000 vendors, so 1000 vendors supplying here. Okay, so initially we need to create the user need to create the purchase requisition. So next step, whenever the user is required, so what is the purchase requisition? Purchase requisition is internal purchase document. So any user can able to able to create a purchase requisition. So most of the companies the purchase info record is mandatory. So you need to mention the material, how much quantity, for 100 quantity required, for which plant is required, for 1100 plant is required this material, and the 001 store location. Okay, you need to enter the material, plant, everything here. Right. So here in initial classes we discussed what is item category and what is account assignment category. Item category represents the way of procurement. So if at the time of PR, if user notes, so this actually this material we are procuring in consignment process. So whenever you select a item category K, so automatically this valuation and account assignment tabs will be disappear. Why valuation and account assignment tab will be disappear? As in consignment procurement, after receiving the material also, initially we are not paying anything to the vendor, so there is no valuation here. And also it is not going for the stock purpose, so here it is going for the stock purpose, so automatically account assignment tabs will be disappear. So always you need to observe whenever you selected, if any field changes, so what are the fields is appearing, what are the fields is disappearing. So this is most important. So when you enter the item category K, so automatically your account assignment category and item category will be disappear. This you need to observe and click on message during check. So once the purchase requisition is created, copy this purchase requisition number. Copy the purchase requisition number. Now, once you'll copy this purchase requisition number. Now, if business demands here, suppose we don't know the vendor, you can create a, okay, so with the help of this purchase requisition, so you can create a RFQ also here. If you know the vendor, directly you can create PO, or if you don't know the vendor, this PR also you can convert into RFQ. And this once the RFQs, different RFQs will go to the vendors and finalize the quotation, then you can create order. But you already you know the vendor, so with reference to this purchase requisition, so directly you can create PO, right? So now let us create a purchase order. So where we will create purchase order? So many ways we can create purchase order. So today we'll observe how to create a PO with reference to PR. Go to ME21N to creating the purchase order. Now please enter the PR number over here. Okay, so if you scroll it here, you need to enter the purchase requisition number here. So once you enter the purchase requisition number, the system will pick all the details here. In the purchase requisition, what are the details is there? So 1000 purchase organization, so purchase requisition. So enter the purchase requisition number here. Properly we have not entered. Now enter the, first of all, system is asking the vendor. Enter the vendor. So system is not taking the purchase requisition number. We'll see here. This is the purchase requisition number, right? Okay. Right now it is detected here. So once you enter the purchase requisition number, now system will pick all the details here. So in this purchase requisition, for which plant, so how much number of pieces, which material, so what is the item category. Okay, here also at the time of purchase requisition, so whenever you enter item category, the system is disappear the two account assignment tab and valuation tab, right? So same time in PO also, if it is a normal PO, net price will be enable mode and you will find the condition tab and account assignment tab here. Okay, whenever you enter item category K, so automatically, suppose if you remove, if you want to test here, so just you remove, then it will become the standard procurement. So automatically this net price will be enable mode. So net price will be enable mode and you will find the condition and account assignment tab here. Okay, but we are performing consignment procurement. So just enter the item category K. So this item category K represents the consignment procurement. So always item category represents the way of procurement. So enter the item category K. So once you enter the item category K, the system automatically disappear here. So your net price and the condition tab and account assignment tab will be disappear. So there is no account assignment and condition tab here. Okay, net price also the system is not able to. Okay, we are not able to enter the price here. So why? Already I told you. So because of this only we are creating purchase info record. The purchase info record is prerequisite here. Without purchase info record we cannot perform here. Okay. However, you can observe this material we required this number of pieces. What is the delivery date and from which vendor is it, we are giving the order, everything's okay. So then once you click on message during check and click on save, the purchase order will be created. So now this is my purchase order number here. Okay, so once the purchase order is created, now copy the number. So the purchase order will go to the vendor. So whenever vendor is dispatching the material, so now we need to enter the goods receipt here. Okay, so copy the PO number. Now you can enter the PO number here. So PO also we created. So once you create the PO, so this will go to the vendor. So whenever vendor is dispatched, so we need to enter the goods receipt here. Okay. Now once we will receive the goods from the vendor, so what you need to do, you need to go to the inventory transactions. So what is your inventory transaction here? You need to go to Migo here. Okay. Now go to Migo. In Migo is the enjoy transaction. We can perform all the inventory activities. So day to day, you can receive the goods, you can issue the goods, you can do the stock transfers. So you can do the cancellation. Okay. So you can do transfer posting, everything, all the inventory activities will be performed. But the combination, whenever you are selecting, it is most important. Goods receipt. So here against what you are doing, purchase order here. You are receiving the goods against the material document inbound delivery. The suitable options you need to select goods receipt, purchase order. So enter the purchase order number. Now if you click on execute here, now please observe okay, when the user will, whichever the user is receiving this material, you need to check everything, you need to check, and then finally you need to say item. Okay, so initially we'll check which material okay, we are receiving. Okay, and how much quantity. Okay, full quantity we are receiving or partial quantity. If you are receiving only some 70 pieces, you need to enter 70 pieces here. Okay, in weight tab, it's most important GR for the consignment stock here. So always the movement type we need to observe. In interviews, they will ask you when we are receiving the goods against the consignment procurement, what is the movement type? 101, not 101, 101 K. So you should tell about K. K means here stock category. So K represents the consignment vendor here. Okay. So if it is a normal stock, it is only 101 here. For which plant and which store location this material is receiving. If you go to the purchase data, the item category, through the consignment process we are receiving. Partner, which vendor stock it is? 1000 vendor stock here. So these are all the details you need to observe. And if you click on check, and if you post this, okay, automatically the material document will be posted here. Okay. Now please keep this screen. So first of all, you go observe your stock overview. So after the receiving the material, if it is a standard material, so immediately it will show your plant and store location level. The consignment material also MMBE. So to check the stock overview, so what is the report here? MMBE. So which plant here? 1100 plant. So 001 location. So this location we received here, but in system it is showing in separate line item here. So if it is a normal stock, it will be updated here. Okay, unrestricted stock here. So this material is in our plant and store location only, but it is separate line item. It is showing. Why it is showing in separate line item this 100 quantity? Because we are receiving the material from the vendor, but we are not ownership of this material. So who is the owner? So even though the material is in our place, because this material is receiving through the consignment process, so still vendor is the owner here. Okay, so until unless now you are not pay anything to the vendor. So that's what we are not ownership of the material. So how to differentiate in the system? The SAP is created automatically. It is a vendor consignment stock. So the system is generated the another line item and it is a vendor consignment stock. So we are not ownership of this material. Still the owner is the vendor here. Okay. Now after this year, so what we need to do? You please go and observe the here goods receipt here. After receiving the goods here, so please go and display of the material document. So this material document does not include any accounting document. So next I also show you. So here why this material document does not include accounting document, because we are not paying anything. So go to display of the material document. You can go to MB03 or itself also. You can go to the display mode and click on doc information and click on FI documents. You can observe there is no subsequent document found in accounting. So there is no accounting document relevant to this material document here. Okay. So most of the interviews they'll ask you whenever I am receiving through the consignment process, so accounting document will be generated or not with 101K. So there is no accounting documents here. Why accounting document is not generating? Because initially we are not paying anything to the vendor. So there is no accounting documents we need to say here. Okay. Now this everything is clear. Okay. Now like in real time also we'll receive the consignment stock, but this consignment stock, so how much stock we have in our stores? So we have some 100 pieces is there here. Okay. So 100 pieces. What is the base unit of PC here? Okay. PC. So this 100 pieces, so we will test here. So today itself we will do remaining test here. I will try to consume some material here. Let us say I will withdraw some 20 pieces from the consignment store here. For this 20 pieces only I need to pay here. So first whatever the mention here up to 27th September. Okay, so 27th September you can utilize. So whether 3 months or 2 months or 1 month or 10 days, whatever the time period you mentioned. So on or before you can utilize this stock. So how much you are withdrawing, for that much only you need to pay to the vendor here. Okay. Now let us, I will consume some 20 pieces here. So let us, I will issue this material to any cost center here. Okay. So cost center means consumption purpose here. So copy this material. Now where will issue this material here? Now go to create new session. You can go MIGO, or so MIGO you can perform, or in MB1A also you can perform here. Okay. To goods issue you can perform in MB1A to goods issue, or you can go MIGO also here. Go to MB1A to enter the goods issue. So what you need to enter here? 201 here. So 201. And what is the special stock here? It is a consignment stock, right? So you must enter 201K. So the movement type 201K. Okay, if it is a normal stock, if it is not a consignment stock, okay, whenever you are issuing to the cost center, we need to use the movement type only 201. But whenever it is a consignment stock, you must select the movement type 201K. So 201K means, so enter the goods issue. So again is the cost center here. So we need, is it a consignment stock? So we need to enter 201K. From which plant and which store location? From 11 plant, 11 store location, we are issuing it. So when you are issuing, so here who will provide these cost centers? The cost centers will be created by the purely FI people. So which cost center I'm issuing? Some, let us say 1000 cost center I'm issuing here. And which vendor stock it is? 1000 vendor stock here. Okay. So which material, like only one material. So how many number of materials here? So I'm issuing this material. How much quantity I'm issuing? Some 20 pieces I'm issuing here. So whenever I'm trying to issue this material, so if I click on save, so automatically the material document will be generated here. So this is the material document here. Okay, 49 all zeros 90 here, 49 all zeros 92. So whenever I issued, so first of all I need to go and check my stock overview. So I need to go and I need to check my stock overview. If I refresh this stock, so out of 100 pieces I issued 20 pieces, then right now my stock is 80 here. Okay, now you need to observe. So like that, for your production purpose or a cost center purpose, so whenever you're issuing, the system is going to generate the material document here. So whenever you're issuing, the system is going to generate the material document. This is the material document, right? So this is the material document is generated. So again is this material document. So what we need to do? So this is not your stock, right? So you consume. So once you consumed here, so to prepare the invoice accounting document, you need to go to MRKO. This MRKO is designed for only for consignment pipeline here. Okay, MRKO. Remaining all the procurement process, like you can perform standard procurement. You need to go MIRO to create the invoice. So all the procurement process in MIRO, for only consignment and pipeline, you need to go to MRKO and enter the vendor. So whatever the material document is generated, you need to enter here. Okay, in consignment procurement, suppose every 10 days here. So from this material document to from this material document here, you can click on this and enter all 10 days material documents here. Okay, for every 15 days or every month, every 1 month. So in one material document also you can generate here. So here enter the material document. Okay, now we are performing consignment here. Okay, deselect the pipeline. First we'll see in display mode here. Okay, go and see the display mode. Okay, now it is the finally information is not settled, but the user can observe through which material document, on which date, so in which plant, which material, how much we withdrawn here. So how much okay, we need to pay to the vendor here. Okay, these are all the system will show you. So it is in display mode. Through the messages here, so this information also will go to your vendor through the output, KONS output here. So whatever the accounting document is generated, so as per this accounting document or internal FI, they are going to pay to the your consignment vendor here. Now go back. So here document is not created, right? If you observe, the document is not created here. So the final information, it is not settled. So when you go back, if you click on execute, automatically the system is need to generate the document here. Now just you go back and click on settle. Okay, now if you execute here, automatically system has to generate the accounting document. See, the accounting document, the document is created here. Okay, so previously it's not settled. Now the document is created. So what is your document number? So this is your document number here, 51018 here. So as per this document, how much we need to pay to the vendor? So why 2200? Because 2000 is the material cost, consignment material cost, and the tax 10% of tax rate. So in 2000 tax 10% of tax is 200 rupees. So total how much you need to pay? So 2200 you need to pay to the vendor here. Okay, so whenever you go back and when you click on settle, so automatically the system is going to generate the document number. So as per this document, so this much of we need to pay to the vendor. So your complete 2000 rupees is the material cost, as well as Your tax is 10%, 2,200 you need to pay to the vendor here. So this is one cycle here. Okay, so whenever you are going to consume, so this is the way we need to consume here. Okay, now I will show you one more time here. Okay, like again I will issue some more 10 pieces here. Now this time I will show you in MIGO. MB1A we already observed, right? Now this time I will show you in MB1A here. Okay, MIGO. MB1A we observed goods issue. So the same way you can do in MIGO also. Both are same transaction code. Just one more time I will show you. So how to perform here. Go to MIGO. MIGO only to goods issue MB1A. So previously MIGO transaction codes to issue MB1A we are using. So the same thing here also you can use here. The goods issue. Okay, other. So enter the material code here. Sir, this is the material document number here. So what is the material code here? You copy here. Copy. So total how many number of pieces is there? We have only 80 pieces, right? This is only we have 80 pieces here. Now enter the material. So how much quantity we are issuing here? Only 10 pieces we are issuing. Then it will become 70 here. In where tab, we must enter only the system will pick 201. It is not a normal stock, so it is a consignment stock. So you need to enter a 201K. So enter the plant and enter the store location here. Enter the store location. So enter the plant and store location. And here in partner tab, which vendor stock it is? 1000 vendor stock here. Enter the 1000 vendor. And you can observe all the details in account assessment tab. You must enter the cost center. Which cost center we are issuing? It is same like MB1A. So just I am showing in MIGO how to perform here. Okay. Now click on check. And once you posted, automatically the system is generated the material document here. So this is the material document is generated 49all093. And please go and observe the stock overview. Once you refresh the stock, now stock will become only 70 pieces here. So this is the we are need to consume the material here. So now what is the material document is created? Material document is created 49all013, right? Go to display and copy this material document. So with reference to this material document, once again I will show you how to create this invoice document here. Now go to MRKO. So in MRKO transaction code, so here go to MRKO and enter your material document. This material document includes the accounting document here. Okay. Now deselect this. First you go to display mode. So now user can observe all these 10 pieces we done. So this much of amount we need to pay to the vendor. So on which date, through which material document we issued everything. Okay, now just you go back. Now information it is not settled here. Now if you click on settle here, now if you execute here, automatically the system is generated the information. So document is created automatically through the internal settings, and this is the document number. Now this time we used only 1000 pieces for the input tax 10%. So total 1100 we need to pay 1000 plus 100, 1100 rupees we need to 1100 US dollars you need to pay to the vendor here. So this is one process here. Okay. Now whenever you are going to consume, okay. Now I'll show you another two process instead of creating two times. So how much stock is there? 70 pieces here. So assume that now 3 months or 4 months or 6 months or 10 days, whatever the time period. So suppose while you're using, suppose we are not able to use the complete stock here. Sometimes as per our business requirement, we need to say the vendor will recall your consignment validity is expired here. So vendor will recall this. Okay, so you can issue this complete stock. Suppose in future also you don't require this material, you can, so you no need to pay whatever the stock is left out. You can return the complete stock to the vendor, or in future whenever you in future you require this material, you can make the transfer postings also here. So in this case what I will do, some 50 pieces I will return to the vendor here. So 50 pieces I'll return to the vendor here. Okay, so now actually in real time either we need to return the complete stock, but I want to show how to own the how to own the stock also. So only 20 pieces I am going to return to the vendor here. Okay, so how to return to the vendor here? Okay, so if you want to return to the vendor, so generally we need to go in MIGO. Okay, in MIGO we need to select the return delivery here. Okay, so but here in MIGO, in MIGO, so we need to select the return delivery, and this is not the material document here. So most of people will confuse here. Through which material document you need to return? So 70 pieces, I want to return only 20 pieces here. So whenever you are going to return here, okay, with which what movement type you received here? 101K movement type you received here. When you are receiving with 101K movement type, that time the material document is generated, not this material document here. So where you will find this material document, you go to display of the PO here. Okay, in ME23, and we have so many options is there. Later you can understand. Now, as of now, you go to display of the PO in purchase order history. So this is the latest PO, right? So if you go to purchase order history, here you will find this material document number. This is the material document. Through this material document, you received this 100 pieces here initially. Okay, through this material document, okay, we received 100 pieces. In where type we can observe. So through this material. So when you are returning also, you need to use this same material document here. You don't use any other material document. Okay. So just to go to PO. In PO, you will find a purchase receipt tab here. So you will find this material document number. So if you go to ME23 or ME21, so display of the PO, you can find this material document number. So now I'm going to return here. Okay. Here go to MIGO. Now this time you need to select return delivery, enter the material document and enter the material document number. System automatically, if you click on execute. So how much you are going to return here? So just item, okay. First of all, material. So this is the material, but quantity you want to return only 20 pieces. We have 70 pieces, but I'm returning only partial quantity because I want to show you how to own the stock also. Only 20 pieces you are going to return here. And weigh tab, please observe the movement type 122K. You can observe how many number of movement types here. 101 is the normal stock here. 101K is the consignment stock you received here. 201K is for issue the cost center, and 122K to return here. 122K, K means stock category, return to the vendor. So you are returning to the vendor. When you are returning, so compulsory the reason for the movement. So why you are returning? So we can write any text here. So it is a predefined text in SPR. You can write here. So it is a like it is incomplete quantity or damaged quality or poor quality. So it is incomplete quantity here. Okay. So any one reason you need to select, otherwise the system will not accept here. And it is like incomplete quantity. In purchase data, you can observe the purchase number and partner which vendor you are returning. The same vendor here. You should not return to any other vendor. So same vendor you need to return. Now click on check. And once you posted here, okay, now automatically again material document will be generated. Now please go and observe the stock overview as of now. Now how much stock will be there? Only 50 pieces, because out of 70 we return 20 pieces. Then we have 50 pieces is there here. Only 50 pieces is there. The final, okay. So as what is the basic definition we observed? The consignment is a special procurement. So in this procurement, vendor will dispatch, and we are going to keep this stock in our premises. So whenever your internal consumption, so we need to withdraw from the consignment stores. So how much we are withdrawing, for that we need to pay to the vendor. And in this two variations, either if any, suppose if the validity period is expires, you can return to the vendor. So already we observed, you can return to the vendor. Suppose in future you require this material, you can make the transfer posting also. Means you can change the ownership. This 50 materials I want to buy. So however, this material is in our premises only, but I want to change the ownership here. So I want to pay complete liabilities to the vendor here. So in this case, what you need to do? So just you go to MB1B or MIGO. So make it a transfer postings here. Okay. Go to MB1B. In MB1B, you can go and you can make the transfer posting. So what is the movement type here? 411K. The 411K movement type. So enter the 411K, enter the plant and store location. So which vendor stock here? Enter the vendor, and which material here? So you need to go and enter the material here. Okay. So what is your material here? So this is the material, right? So copy this material. Now come to here. So how much stock is there? 50 pieces, right? So now enter the material, and how much? 50 pieces. Now you are changing ownership. So 411K movement type here. You must enter 411K here. Okay. Observe the 411K. Enter the plant and store location. Now please observe that material document is posted. Now again is this material document. Again for the 50 pieces you need to pay to the vendor. So before that, please go and observe the stock overview automatically. So if you go to stock overview, now here is the stock overview. When you refresh, automatically the stock will be updated in our plant and store location, because now it is our validated stock here. If you refresh here, automatically stock got updated. So now 50 pieces. Now this is, we are the ownership of this material. Okay, it is not its vendor consignment here. But whenever you are creating, the system is going to generate the material document, right? So this is the material document here. So again is this material document, because 50 pieces we have taken from the vendor. Okay, we change the ownership here. So for this, again you need to create the invoice document, and again to the invoice document you need to pay to the vendor. Go to MRKO. In MRKO, so once again I will show you. So enter the material document number. Now deselect and first observe the display mode. So how much we need to pay? So 5,000 US dollars you need to pay. So it means 50 quantity we are withdrawn. So we change the ownership here. Okay. Finally, the information is not settled. Just to go back, and if you click on settle here, so if you click on execute, automatically the system is generated the document here. So again to this document, 5,000 plus 10% of 5,500 you need to pay. So 10% of input tax of the material and 5,000 rupees of material cost and 500 rupees tax here. So total 5,500 rupees you need to pay to the vendor. So this is about a complete in consignment procurement. So what we observe a consignment procurement, the consignment is a special procurement. So in this process, so generally uh, we what is the basic definition? So consignment is a special procurement. In this process, generally we need to give the order to the vendor. Vendor will dispatch, but this stock we are keeping in our stores, but it is showing in a separate line item because even though material is in our business, we are not ownership of this material because as per our business requirement, we need to withdraw from the vendor consignment store. For this withdrawal quantity only we need to pay to the vendor here. So what is the prerequisite to perform the consignment procurement? You must create purchase info record by selecting info categories consignment. So after creating, so whenever creating the order, the vendor will dispatch after receiving this material. So internal consumption when you are issuing the material, so the system is going to generate the material document. As per this material document, you need to create the libraries in MRKO transaction code. So based on this, we are going to pay to the vendor here. Okay, in consignment procurement in real time. So sometimes if any stock is left out, you can return the stock or you can own the stock. But if you observe the movement types, to receive the goods, normal stock is 101. It is a consignment stock 101K. K represents the stock category. And also we observe to issue the material generally 201. But for consignment stock, we need to enter the movement type 201K. For transfer postings, okay, to return 122K, and transfer postings if you want to change the consignment stock to our own stock 411K movement type we observed. So tomorrow we'll meet with any other new procurement process here. Is about today's process, and tomorrow please join at 7:30. Naresh, I forgot to ask. 7:30 is okay every day for you, Naresh? You joined
Uh,
1 minute late.
yes, sir. It is okay, sir.
Every, every day 7:30 is possible for you, right?
Yeah, sir. Somewhat.
Okay, okay. Thank you all. So tomorrow we'll meet 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow onwards we have a session at 7:30. Thank you for joining the session. Mayur, Agendra,
Okay.
Harshini,
Thank you.
Naresh. Thank you all. Okay, okay. Bye.